I've been like annoyed for the past 2 days because when I have to like log into work and do other things, all I'm thinking about is I really just want to finish Zodiac Academy. I'm debating DNFing this book. This one, we have a Minotaur MMC, which I've never read before and I'm so terrified. Caleb is probably my favorite. I can't stop. Like, there is crack in these books. You can't tell me otherwise. Welcome to my attempt at trying to find a 5-star read in this vlog. This vlog doesn't end until we find a 5-star. I'll be very honest, only one of these is a true like 5-star prediction for me, so I might be setting myself up to fail, but I'm not the pickiest person in the whole world. I do tend to give out at least one 5-star a month because I feel like I know my reading taste pretty well, so we'll see. But we haven't given a 5-star so far this month. I've read 3 books. First up, Zodiac Academy, The Awakening. I have been so terrified to start this series, but I think it's finally time. My lovely bestie sent me the first actually 3 books of Zodiac Academy, and she annotated and tabbed them for me, so I'm so excited to read this edition. It's gonna be so freaking fun. Preview of what's to come. I literally can't wait. And then this is the bookmark that I picked out for it. Then I have by Ruby Dixon, Bull Moon Rising. This is a book that I've had on my radar for quite a long time. I've heard that there's a second book coming out in this series. I didn't know it was a series because this has been out for quite a while. So that's kind of exciting. But I loved Ruby Dixon's Ice Planet Barbarians. And so I'm excited to read more from her. I'm not a big monster romance person. I've definitely dabbled in monster romance, but it's not like a go-to for me. So this could be pretty hit or miss. However, I'm thinking it's gonna be fast-paced, fun, spicy, good time, which I'm never gonna complain about. Also, the books that are on my TBR for this week are so all over the place. It's kind of crazy. I don't think I could have picked more opposite books from each other. The other 2 books for this TBR are 2 arcs. I have an arc for Yuli, which is the 3rd book in the Guardians of the Dawn series. This is a YA series written by S.J. Jones, and it's very like Sailor Moon inspired. It's so cute, but it does have emotional impact to it. It's not like a completely silly, goofy series. It also has good representation as well in terms of like LGBTQIA+, which we really enjoy. It has great like action and battle scenes too. So I have Yuli. This one is a big priority for this week actually because it releases officially I think towards the end of this week, and I have been sitting on this arc for a while, so I need to get to it. And then my last book on this TBR, but this is my 5-star prediction. I was blessed to receive an arc from Rebecca Ross for Wild Reverence. This is the prequel book to the Letters of Enchantment series. The Letters of Enchantment series is a 5-star series for me. I loved it so freaking much. I'm so excited that we're getting a prequel series as well because Divine Rivals, I'll go into like, again, more of a summary for these books as I actually read them, but Divine Rivals follows like a romance, an absolutely stunning romance. It's more historical fantasy, so if you like historical fantasy, it's one of the best like rivals to lovers I've read, especially the first book. The second book, it kind of transitions out of that, but the first book, oh my gosh, the rivals to lovers is incredible. I cried. Actually, I think during both books, but definitely during the first one, I cried tears at the end. Oh my gosh. It's set in a world that's very similar to ours, so it doesn't need a lot of world building. However, there's a war going on between these gods, and you don't get a ton of detail about that in the first 2 books of the series. And so I'm so excited that we're getting a prequel book because it dives into the reasonings why and like what's going on with the war. So I have been very scared to start this series, so we're just gonna jump in and go all out with our first book.
Come on, baby, take a leap of faith. We got a love.
have a surprising update. Only surprising because of how many pages I read yesterday, and I was not anticipating just wanting to binge this book. Like, what do you mean? So we made it to page 168. I'm on chapter 10 of The Awakening. Why didn't I read this series sooner? Like, I'm actually kicking myself. I don't understand. This was a series that was so intimidating for me because, like, the hype, how long it is. The other thing that people kept telling me that I was really scared about was that the writing style isn't good. People say that. It scares me a little bit, but no, this is so good. I feel like when I first started reading, I read on my Kindle. Kindle Unlimited is like what got me back into reading because I didn't have space to own books and I didn't understand how I was supposed to read. So Kindle Unlimited got me back into reading. I feel like had I picked this up during like the start of my reading journey, I would have binged it. Like, I would be all caught up with the series at this point. Writing styles like this are actually some of my favorite Kindle Unlimited books to read. Give me a series that's like low brain power, super bingeable. I'm here for it. I truly feel like I'm the last person on the planet to read these books. I'm gonna give you a summary anyways, just in case you're someone who hasn't picked up this series either, and you don't know what it's about. So we have two sisters, they're twins. We have Tori and Darcy. They were foster kids. They've had a difficult childhood. Their parents died when they were very young, and we meet them when they are 18. It jumps right into a bunch of action as well. Like, these girls are scraping by and doing what they need to do to survive. But one night, when they're off doing the things that they need to do to earn their rent money, like stealing motorcycles, stealing cash, all these crazy things, this man approaches them. They are scared. They run away from him, but he catches up with them. His name is Orion, and he tells them that they are actually Geminis. Okay. They're Geminis, and they're actually these like princesses. Their parents were the most powerful king and queen, and they have to go to Zodiac Academy, prove themselves, graduate to earn their inheritance. They get to the school. We're introduced to this very interesting school setting. They're introduced to the four heirs. There are these four guys that are described as very drool worthy. They're all very different from each other. These heirs are who are supposed to like take over power. Now that like the king and queen have been dead for a really long time, whatever, these four boys, like their parents are currently in power. They're going to be in power, and they are not so happy that Tori and Darcy are back and they are the princesses. Loving this. Maybe we have to read like the next book in the series in this vlog as well.
Darling, you've been on my mind. Gonna love you to the end of time. And I know
I have only read like one chapter since my last check-in, but something just came to me. You know how, so in the book, they have these like basically iPads that are called atlases that give them like their whole day at school. It's honestly very Zoe 101. It tells them like where their classes are. It gives them like a whole little Apple map to tell them where to go. If I had one of these, I would have been more brave to go to university in an actual city, because I didn't do that because I knew I was gonna get lost. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna find my freaking classes. I can barely navigate my way around my house. They have these like iPads that tell them everything. Like, it like automatically sets their alarm for them, and it's like, you have to wake up at this time because breakfast is at this time, and then you have to go to your class, and then I'm going to give you directions to your class. Their iPad also gives them their daily horoscope, and because in this world, in the Zodiac Academy, everything is tied to like star signs, and Darcy and Tori like didn't really believe in star signs. They thought it was like fun, but they're like, horoscope? No, it's crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Now they're starting to get more into it. I feel like Darcy is much more than Tori, but anyways, there are these like horoscopes, and I can't help but read them like Gossip Girl. I don't know what my problem is, but instead of it being like, poor Serena, blah, 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 what happens? It's like, good morning, Gemini. The stars have spoken about your day. With the world falling into chaos around you, you will have to remain vigilant. and let the steady path of the sun keep you grounded. It may seem like a lot to take in, but you're doing better than you think. Be wary of those around you. Even the friendliest of dogs can bite. XOXO, Gossip Girl.
Oh, you're the one. Our story's just begun. I'm never gonna let you go.
We have read another, oh my gosh, JMO just came in waving his rope around. I thought he was gonna knock you guys over. We only have this much left. I feel like this section that I read yesterday dragged a little bit for me because things really just started to slow down. It was much more building interpersonal relationships, especially with the heirs. We got to interact a lot more with them, and I feel like the girls are getting a more normal, like, sort of college/university experience. Like, they went out to the bars, they were hanging with their friends, they're getting into the groove of like living in this world at this university. So I'm thinking that this is going to set up the next book, because we've been hinting at this thing called the Reckoning, which is like a magic test, and if people don't pass, they get kicked out of Zodiac Academy. It's a very, very big deal. And I think that the name of the next book is The Reckoning. So I feel like with what we have left, it's going to set that up. Actually, I'm gonna check. Okay, it's not moving as quickly as I thought. So the second book is called Ruthless Fae. So I wonder if our girlies just like get into trouble, and this is going to be them like mastering their magical powers, because in this book, The Awakening, that we're reading right now, sorry, all the covers look the same, so I feel the need to say that. They are just learning that they are magical beings, and like we know nothing, and their powers, like they are so far behind everybody else in terms of their powers. So I'm assuming that this will be the proving themselves, the magical learning, the training / combat book, which love that. I hope that's the case. I hope I'm not setting my expectations too high for this. I'm trying to put the puzzle pieces together, and hopefully I'm not super off base. This seems like a very straightforward series, which I really like. Oh my gosh, we get more POVs in the Reckoning book. Wait, what about in this one? Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. This Zodiac Academy is, they describe it as a male-female bully romance series set in the worlds of Solaria 5 years after the Dark Fae. Interesting. I'm about to get into this backlist, that's all I'm trying to say. Today, probably after we finish this, I'm actually gonna start Wild Reverence. I wanna read at least the first couple chapters, maybe the first 5, depending on how long the chapters are, but I really want to start Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. I'm also buddy reading that with a friend, so I want to like stay on top of that one. Also, this is gonna have a pretty strong star rating as well, so I don't think that this is a 5-star for me quite yet. We'll see where we go when it ends, but my enjoyment level of this book has definitely been like a 4-star at least. We have just finished her. Definitely 4 stars. I loved this. I'm actually so mad at myself that I did not read the series sooner. Like, what is wrong with me? I don't understand. The ending, we didn't really get the reveals I was hoping for. Like, everyone in this world is fae, but there's different creatures of the fae. Like, vampires are considered fae, sirens are considered fae, werewolves are considered fae. I want to know what Darcy and Tori are, and like we still don't know what they are. I can't wait for that reveal. Learning about these creatures, learning about this world, this was so freaking fun. All I want to do is start the second book. That might be happening, but I do need to start Wild Reverence because that is an arc, and we're trying to be responsible and read our arcs. This book took over my world. I've been like annoyed for the past 2 days because when I have to like log into work and do other things, all I'm thinking about is I really just want to finish Zodiac Academy. With how I'm talking about this, like enjoyment level, you would think it would be a 5-star. There's like something holding me back though from it being a 5-star. I feel like, I don't don't know. I'm definitely obsessed with all of the characters. I'm obsessed with like the little pieces. I wouldn't say there was like a lot of romance in this one. Romance was not the focus. It was really like setting up the world, establishing relationships, establishing dynamics, because the dynamics in this are really important. There's also like a murder mystery that we're trying to figure out. Our characters are kind of in danger. Like Darcy and Tori are not safe. There's people that are out to get them, and not just like bullying, which definitely takes place in this book, but even more so. Like it's even higher stakes than that in terms of like threats to their lives. And there's other like murder mysteries that are going on, which is so fun. As obsessed with this as I was, it doesn't feel like a full 5-star. It's not a 5-star feeling. You know what I mean? Hi Pookies, we've had a productive day. Your girlie's been waking up actually early this week. Like usually I wake up at like 8 a.m. I'm not a morning person. I have been waking up at 6:45 this week because we've been busy, we've been getting a bunch of stuff done, we've been reading a bunch, and it's amazing times. But today was productive. I had to get my real ID done, which is so annoying because I just got my like new driver's license last year. Anyways, we did that. We worked on our September bullet journal, which I'm super excited about, and like prepping stuff for the readathon Rebellion. But we need to do a reading update. So last night I got up to 13% in Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. I don't have page numbers because it is an arc. Also, I forgot, I've been reading physical books so much recently. I forgot how comfy it is to read with my like Kindle on this reading pillow. Instead of like my chin morphing into my neck so I can read like my physical book in bed, this you can like look up at, and it's so nice. I freaking love this thing, and it's been so long since I've read on my Kindle, it feels like. So anyways, first impressions, it moves a little bit more slowly. It's not following the couple that I thought it was going to follow. So that was an interesting twist. I did read the summary for this book, but I thought that there would be certain players that were hinted at from Divine Rivals and stuff that we were going to get more of, and they're in this, but they're not the focal point. So that was a big surprise. Our main character's name is Matilda. She is a like lesser goddess. And in this world, the gods and goddesses are connected to like constellations, and there's also the underlings, which are gods that live under the ground, and there's the skyward, hopefully I have that name correct, which are gods that live in the sky, and they are enemies of each other. Gods are very cold-hearted in this world as well, and I don't want to say like bloodthirsty, but they're very competitive against each other, because if they kill another god, they can take over that god's power, and they also take over like the constellations of that old god. And it's like the god's worst fears are to die, lose their power, and be forgotten. Everyone wants to be, they say like feared and remembered, but there's this distinction between fear and love. That question gets asked maybe in like the first or second chapter to Matilda, who's not like a crazy powerful goddess. Like everyone was like, yeah, she's, you know, like medium tier. She doesn't have any like crazy special powers or anything like that. She's like a messenger to the gods. She can travel between the different planes, the sky, the underworld, and the mortal realm. Which is interesting. I like following a character like this, but it was a bit of a slower start. Right where I ended last night, around that 12-13%, was when it started to get a little bit more interesting. You might be in a slightly different place because my battery died. We have Matilda's POV, but then where I left off last night, we got our first chapter from the perspective of Vincent, who is a mortal boy who started dreaming of Matilda before he even met her, and he didn't know that she was a goddess. I think I'm having a better time with it now that I know it's dual POV. It's going to be my entire focus today, where yesterday we were trying to finish Zodiac Academy. I definitely had moments last night where I was like, all I want to do is pick up the second book in Zodiac Academy.
I'm never gonna let you go. Come on, baby, what you waiting for?
I have a Wild Reverence update. Last night I read to 40%. I've been trying to make it at, or ideally like just past 50% before I like determine what I would like to do, but last night was definitely a struggle to get to 40%. We basically have a 13-year jump, which was kind of described in the summary, and we get to see what happens with like Vincent, where he's at now. Our two characters get to catch up, and I'm debating DNFing this book. I want to get to over the halfway point, because with arcs, even if I do like end up putting them down and DNFing them, I feel like once you get past the 50% mark, I can still leave a fairly coherent review, but I'm like devastated. The reason why is the characters. Like Matilda and Vincent, I hate saying this, they don't have personality. They don't have any personality, and I'm shocked because in the Letters of Enchantment series, I'm really struggling with like what to call it, because this book feels so different from Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. And Iris and Roman in those two books had so much personality, like not just the writing being like descriptive and lyrical and beautiful, but the dialogue was some of my favorite parts of that book. Their banter, I told you their like rivals to lovers setup was so good. And then even in the second book, when they've moved away from that rivals to lovers setup, their banter and their dialogue is so delicious, and their romance becomes really like sweet in the second book, and with everything that's going on, like it makes it really emotional, and I don't feel any emotional pull to these characters. I'm not sure if it's because, like I mentioned in my previous updates, the gods in this book feel so cold, and they don't have like typical emotions towards each other. There's a little bit of, I don't even want to say like family dynamic, but like, what's her name? Matilda's relationship with the god of war is probably like the most connection I'm feeling between characters, because he sort of is acting like a father figure with her, even though she like has her dad, and like that's a different relationship that she has as well. But like the one between her and the god of war is probably the one that's pulling on my heartstrings the most, but we've completely moved away from that. I don't feel this romance. I think I'm like right on the cusp of it really just starting, because Vincent and Matilda like knew each other when they were kids, and so that was much more just innocent and very like getting to know each other, because they only would see each other in a very specific setting and context. It's not like these two have spent heaps and heaps of time with each other. They're starting to get to that point where they're going to be spending more time with each other. Getting to the 50% mark could be like a big determining factor in my enjoyment level really hopefully skyrocketing. But at this point in time, like we were getting descriptions of stuff where I'm just like, I'm not understanding the appeal to the reader of like why we care about this. Sad times, very sad times. So we're switching the strategy a little bit. I mean, I didn't want to start this book today anyway, so it's not like switching things up too much, but I think what I'm gonna do is start Full Moon Rising. This could either really shoot me in the foot or help me, and there's no in between. I'm gonna start this because it's fast, it's gonna be fun, it's gonna be spicy. I am familiar with Ruby Dixon's writing, and I love her writing, I love her romances. This is a bit of a wild card because I think I mentioned like I'm not a big monster romance girly, even though I don't know if alien romance technically is considered like monster romance, but I loved her Ice Planet Barbarian series, and I feel like they're slightly adjacent. This one, we have a Minotaur MMC, which I've never read before, and I'm so terrified. So this could either be a hit or an absolute flop for me. I feel like there's probably no in between. So this is a gamble, considering this is a reading till I find a 5-star read vlog. But I'm thinking that if all else fails, we're gonna read Zodiac Academy too, because it's all I can think about anyways. We did read last night. We did not read another 10 to 15% of Wild Reverence. We did read 224 pages of Full Moon Rising. This is so fun, fast-paced, spicy, kind of spicy right from the very beginning. Not like spicy scenes, but we have our MMC Hawk, who every 5 years there's this special type of moon that makes him feel some type of way. And immediately Elspeth is like, I will do anything it takes. Judge me if you want, I don't care. I will do anything it takes to become one of these artifact expeditioners. And she really does the damn thing, and I love them together. It's so silly goofy as well. The plot is like simple but to the point, and she knows what you're here for, and it's the romance, and it starts very quickly, and I'm kind of obsessed with these two. I really didn't know how I was gonna feel about a Minotaur main character, like our MMC, but you know what? I'm here for it, and I'm having a wonderful time. I am wondering if we'll be able to finish this because we're just over halfway, actually. This reads like nothing. Like, it felt like I read 5 pages and I read 224. I stayed up until 1:30 last night reading this, which I had no business doing. Right now I'm just getting ready for stream. It's Friday, so we do Expedition 33 on Twitch. I'm gonna pick this up later. I can't wait to get back to it. I don't know in terms of like a star rating, because my enjoyment of this is like incredible at this moment in time, so I don't know what the star rating is. It doesn't feel like a full 5-star for me at this time, but the jury is still out. Very lazy Saturday. I have spent all day in bed, she says proudly, and we just finished Bull Moon Rising. I think I'm gonna give this, I'm torn between like a 3.5 or a 4-star. Enjoyment level was absolutely a 4-star. I think I just didn't care about the plot. Like, after a certain point I was like, so I started skimming the last like maybe like 50-ish pages, like this much. I kind of skimmed, but I really liked it. It's actually making me want to return to her Ice Planet Barbarian series, because I've only read for sure the first 2. I just can't remember if I've read the 3rd book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, but it's just so fun. I think that I like those books a little bit more because they're shorter. Well, actually, I don't know if all of them are short, but the first 2 that I read for surezies, I remember being very, very short, like 200 to 250 pages, maybe a little bit less than that. This one, for what it was, it just felt like a little bit too long for me, and I think it's because I liked the romance. I wasn't super there for the plot. Like, it was okay, but it definitely wasn't my driving purpose for like reading this. I want to say that the jury is still out on Minotaur Spice, because if I forgot what he was, I liked it better. As for Wild Reverence, I've been really debating if I want to like officially DNF it or if I do want to try to continue it in this vlog. I think that that's a type of book that I want more time to read. Like, I just don't feel like if I force myself to keep reading it in this vlog, I feel like I definitely will not enjoy it, but I don't want to like fully DNF it. So I don't know, I'm probably not going to return to it in this vlog, but I'm really unsure about the rating on it right now. I'm trying to debate, do we be responsible and stick to our TBR with our next arc that we need to read, which is Yuli by S.J. Jones. This is the 3rd Guardians of Dawn book. Or do we indulge our mood reading tendencies and go with Zodiac Academy, Ruthless Fae? It's 320 pages as well, whereas this one is like 530. And the only hesitancy I have, even though I think that this will absolutely fly and these pages will read themselves, I want to make sure that I'm getting this vlog up on time, and I'm worried that if I start this, today's Saturday, this vlog is going up on Monday, that doesn't leave me a lot of time. Let's go with Yuli. Let me give you the summary of this. I'll stick with this series, even though this summary really does not give away anything, because these books, even there is a coherent plot line. How do I describe this series? Okay, the series as a whole, as their society is getting plunged into peril and like evil, basically there are these demons and monsters that are coming back to life, sort of like their spirits are coming back and causing different terrors to happen around their country and like world. There were these protectors the Guardians of Dawn, that start to get reawakened. So honestly, if you think of Sailor Moon, it is so Sailor Moon coded. We're having the best time. The romance in these books isn't super heavy-handed. Like, it definitely focuses on the overall plot more. However, there is romance. There's definitely connections in these books, but it's not super forefront in the story because there's so many like moving pieces going on with the politics and the overall battle of good versus evil. But the way that these Guardians of Dawn get like activated almost, and they're these girls who are quite scattered. Like, we have done a lot of travel in these books. However, it's not boring travel where they just like are walking forever and like nothing happens. In each different place, in the south, there was like a certain type of demon thing that was happening. In the west, there was another certain type of demon. And these Guardians of Dawn have to close these demon portals to like seal away I forget what they call her. She's like the demon mother. And so like, I love reading these books because you know how if you watch like a TV show or like an anime, you know that the heroes are going to prevail. You know that that's the end goal. There's really no question about that in these books. It's just the how. And a lot of the demons are hiding in plain sight. They take over someone's body and they're manipulating a lot of things. It's a fun mystery to figure out who is this main big controlling demon, like the demon lord basically, that's causing all of this chaos. If there's one series I could convince you to read, if you typically like YA and if you loved Sailor Moon, you need to read the series. It's literally so good. We just got the first of 3 trials. I'm now on chapter 17, 47% of the way through. We got the first of the trials and all I could think about was medieval times. They have to do different types of trials. There's 3 of them. The first one was strength. They ride on horses and they have this big pike. It's like a lance basically. Like, it's this really long thing and they're riding on horses and they have to collect these rings on their big pike while they're riding a horse. That is so medieval times coded. You cannot tell me that S.J. Jones didn't go to medieval times and she was like, I should write this into a book. I loved it. I also loved medieval times when we went. I want to go like once a year. Like, it's like a new tradition for us. I loved it so much. So that was a really fun first trial. I can't wait for the other trials. One thing about me, I love a competition and I'm so invested in these characters. The way that they are, they used to be friends and now they're rivals, and the reason why their friendship broke apart, but like they were kind of crushing on each other. The reason why their friendship broke apart is actually heartbreaking. Like, I feel like S.J. Jones writes super duper believable character relationships. Like, everything just makes so much sense. But I'm loving having them battle against each other in these competitions, and it's only these 2. No one else wanted to like enter the challenge, so it's only these 2 battling against each other, and I love it here. Hi Pookies, we're gonna finish Guardian of Dawn Yuli today. I'm at 75% and I just wanted to give a little bit of an update before I finish. I wanted to talk about Yuli herself a little bit because the way that her story has been told is quite interesting. In Zara and in Ami, I feel like we got to know those characters a lot better because it was the first time we were meeting them, we were learning everything, and those characters were being introduced to us. But then we also had a romance that was actively being established in those, and so you get to know your main character through their romance as well. Yuli is interesting because she has been in definitely Ami. I can't remember if she was introduced in Zara, but I don't think so. Maybe she was, but we've known Yuli over the past couple books. Yuli has been the one who has probably known about and mastered her guardian powers
for the longest amount of time, whereas Ami and Zara, we were with them as they were discovering who they were, discovering what their powers were. It's like we know Yuli well, but then also her story didn't really have like its moment to shine, in my opinion, compared to Zara and Ami. And so I'm really loving the story. Like, I'm not gonna give it below a 4-star for sure. Like, I'm so enjoying it. It's written so well. I love the pace of the story. I love everything about it. I don't know if it's gonna be a full 5-star because the other characters, I felt like just that level of connection, even more so because we were able to go through so much with those characters, whereas this one, we're still going through her story. It's her time to demonstrate her power as the guardian of wind, but there's all of like these little elements of the story that I feel like we missed out on a little bit.
Friends, apologies for the creepy red light. Hopefully it's not too bad, but I just finished Yuli and I can confirm I'm giving it 4 stars. The ending was really setting up the final book. There's going to be a lot happening in that final book. I'm very excited for it, although I don't know if we have a release day for it quite yet. As much as I wish I could give it 5 stars, it was definitely a 4-star read. This one I probably enjoyed the least of the other two. Kind of like surprised. It's not that it had middle book syndrome, I just think that the story hit so differently from the other ones. It felt very different. And this story felt much less lighthearted. I would say in Zara and Ami, there were a lot more hee hee ha ha moments. And this one was very serious. And so I'm wondering if that more serious tone is going to carry into the finale book. However, I am not usually an epilogue reader. I actually really dislike epilogue, especially in romance books, but like in general, I usually just skip over it. But in this one, I was like, why is there an epilogue? Like, what could this be talking about? We got set up for the finale book, and we found out for sure it's going to be in the Azure Isles, and there's going to be death nuns. How cool is that? Like, come on, that is so freaking cool. So I will keep my eyes peeled for when that final book is going to be released. But we are going to start Ruthless Fae. I'm very excited for this. I'm gonna take a little bit of a reading break. It is 8 o'clock right now. I'm going to take a shower, get ready for bed, probably drink a diet soda, and then we're going to get into this right before bed. So I don't know how much of this I will read tonight, but I do just want to get it started. And then I have reading sprints tomorrow that I'm doing with my Patreons, so we'll be able to read like a good portion of this tomorrow and hopefully be really focused. Today, to finish Yuli, I definitely had to focus my brain. Like, I had a lot of moments where I was like, just scroll on your phone, like just check this one thing, just check this one thing. And I was like, no, you have to read this book. And I'm glad that I did, because I did kind of like force myself to read, but it was worth it. I think that my attention span is just truly going down the drain. Please pray for me. I need this to be the last book in this vlog. We have, it feels like, flown through the first 118 pages of this book. Like, it's actually crazy. Last night I only read 1 chapter because I was so sleepy. But I was shocked. I wish I had been filming that the first chapter in this book is from Caleb, and we're getting some of the heirs' POVs in this one, which I think when I flipped through earlier in this video, we did see that there were additional perspectives, but squirrel brain, I completely forgot. So I was very excited to get, Caleb is probably my favorite if I had to pick one. I really like Caleb. I'm not crazy about the other ones. Seth probably bothers me the most. Darius seems like he's going to be like the main character of like the heirs besides Tori and Darcy. Like, he has a lot of backstory. He's the one that's like scheming and like doing a lot, and then he has connections with Professor Lance Orion, which has been very interesting. But I love Caleb. I think he's like the hottest. And I really hope that Tori doesn't have to choose. I hope that we get all of them. I'm having a wonderful time. I'm on chapter 8. My goal today is just to read as much as possible. I love this magical school. I think if I actually went, I would be sobbing from the bullying and people trying to kill me, but you're telling me that she woke up in the middle of the night from someone singing a siren song and she goes on an enchanted walk through the woods to find the siren. When she gets there, she was like, I'm leaving. And he goes, you can't go. Not until you've kissed me. What the hell are you even talking about? I would sooner kiss a horse's ass. Let me out of here. That's not up to me. You were drawn here by my siren song, and so you have to kiss me if you want to go. I don't control it. It picks someone who the magic thinks needs to feel my power. It's not like the teachers were hinged in the first book, but why do I feel like in the second book the teachers are even more unhinged? Also, we just found out that like teachers and students cannot have relationships with each other. They will get, I forget what the terminology that they used was, but like power shamed basically. And like the teachers will get in big trouble. Everyone will get kicked out of Zodiac Academy, like all of this stuff, all of this crazy, crazy stuff if a student hooks up with a teacher, vice versa, whoever starts it doesn't matter. But like, they're letting these teachers just like, this water teacher is a pervert with a capital P, and like you're telling me that he's not going to get in trouble for his behavior acting like that, but then like if anything were to happen he would get like kicked out and it would be taken super seriously and like all of this stuff. I can't even talk, I'm so flabbergasted about this. Why are you letting him behave like that in the first place? But then also like I want Orion to be able to act the way he'd be acting, because like he just picks up Darcy, puts her over his shoulder and starts walking to their meeting, and they pass by the principal and the principal's like, hi, what's going on? And he's like, oh, just headed to our meeting. And she's like, good job. What are you talking about? How are you going to allow that behavior? But then like if something happened between a student and a teacher, you would like ruin their reputation. Like I don't understand. Make it make sense. I want it when it's Professor Lance, Orion. I don't want it when it's Professor Pervert with a capital P. It's about consent. Caleb fighting with this inflatable Pegasus is literally one of the best things I've ever read. I love it so much. Also, I have to give like my current tier ranking of all of the men. I am including Professor Lance Orion in this because like he is my probably top tier number 1. I love him so much. I love him so much. I'd probably say Lance is like my number 1 mixed with Caleb. I really, really love Caleb, but Lance is like, he's not like bullying them, so I feel like he is kind of in a different category, but he's my number 1. Caleb is probably tied, if not number 2. Then Darius. Like, I'm curious to see what's happening with Darius. I'm curious to see, like, him and Tori, like, what's going on, even though he seems like he's sort of the ringleader of all of them. So, like, for that, I don't like him, but I do think he's intriguing. And, like, we had a training scene with him and, like, fire magic, which I really thoroughly enjoyed every single word of. And then Max is 4th. He is irritating to me. I think that's all I want to say. I think it's weird that they can like control people's emotions. I feel like that borders on like dub con in certain like senses. Like it's just, I just don't know how I feel about it. So that's that. And then Seth is like absolute bottom tier. Like what is appealing about Seth? I don't understand. And something just happened in this book. I don't want to like give anything away, but like it's not like plot oriented, but like I feel like if you just don't know about it, it's just that much more of a surprise. But like there's a scene with Darcy and the Wolf Gang and they're like chasing her through the woods and then they do something to her that I'm like, ew. I don't know. I I don't know about him. And like the whole hair thing, weird. Like he gets off on that. You can tell he like loves it. I cannot get over this. They're just banging in the common room. Anyways. So many of my updates have been me sitting at this desk. This is where I've been doing most of my reading so I can like focus this week, but I wanted to give a little bit of an update on Ruthless Fae. This is where we are. This is how much we have left. We are so close to finishing. I wanted to finish it last night, but I was so tired and I was eating up everything that was happening in the second half of this book. Our prediction was correct that the second half of this book felt very different from the first half. We moved out of the prank wars and we got to go to this fancy party at Darius's house, and so many things happened. We got to meet new people. Darcy and Tori were able to really learn a lot more about the world, and I guess more so about like the people, the roles that they're playing, how they behave, how people are seeing them, which is quite important in this book. So I was having the time of my life. So many things happened, interrelationship, interpersonal things between characters, that I was screaming. The way that Tori and Darcy were just working the room in terms of all of the boys were here in one place and they were in tuxedos and everyone was dressed up and they were drinking. Debauchery was happening. We got hinted at debauchery from Tori when they were on their way there, and she delivered. My freaking queen. I was kicking my feet. I was kicking myself also that I hadn't read it earlier in the day, so I couldn't like film it because I was tucked into bed. I had my little Kindle reading pillow and I had the blankets up to here and I was just like nonstop laser focus reading these chapters. I can't stop. Like there is crack in these books. You can't tell me otherwise. It's insane. I haven't felt like this about a series. I haven't wanted to like binge read a series like this in so long, and I'm like foaming at the mouth for everything. I did yesterday also go to Barnes & Noble and I picked up books 4 and 5 in the series. I know that we have book 3 on deck. I'm probably not gonna get to it in this vlog because y'all, I think that this is gonna be a 5-star. These books have me like giddy, and this book, more so than the first one, had me like laughing out loud with some of the things that were happening. So we're gonna finish this today. I will definitely give, obviously, final thoughts and final ratings when we finally finish her, but I'm obsessed. Also, I'm just quickly flipping through, not reading anything, but I did see some cutie little doodles on this last page from my friend. I'm intrigued. We have our final update and I'm so happy to report that this is indeed a 5-star for me. The second half of this book felt so different from the first half. Not to say that I didn't enjoy the first half, because the first half was so hee hee ha ha, but then so much of the plot happens in the second half. It's almost like the authors were like, oh yeah, we have to like do something with this. But the relationship building between Tori and Darcy and a lot of the men, incredible. Absolutely loved it. I loved where this ended. I loved the like big fighting conflict that we got at the end of this. I feel like that was really pivotal. I am upset that we didn't learn what the Vega twins are in terms of like their Fae form. I'm dying to know the answer to that, but I feel like I'm just having such a good time. I keep thinking about the first book and thinking about going back and giving it a 5-star because it was so close. But I'm gonna leave it at 4.5. But we did finally find our 5-star read. I'm definitely going to read the third book in this series in September. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this vlog. If you did and you made it this far and would like to let me know that you were here, leave like your Zodiac emoji in the comments down below. I'll catch you in the comments and I'll see you in my next one very soon, friends. Toodles.
There's only one thing I know.